I have a question for you, bro. On a scale from 1 to 10, how valuable is sleep for you? How high do you rate your sleep? Is it a priority for you? Or is it something that you just don't care about? You're saying, oh, I'll do it later. I don't care for how long I sleep. If I sleep poorly, that's okay. I can just like scroll more in bed if I sleep less. Is it a priority or not? If you rated sleep lower than 8, from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, if you rated it lower than 8, I have bad news for you. Your life sucks if you don't prioritize the sleep. If you rated it under 8, there's a high chance your life sucks. You're not productive. You feel depressed, you have anxious thoughts. You just don't know what to do with your life. You feel tired all the time. I used to be exactly like you. I want to tell you a story. It was 1 a.m. and I was in bed, lying on my side, watching Rick and Morty. I was in an uncomfortable position, and my volume was set to the lowest. My whole house was sleeping, but I was the only one awake, watching Rick and Morty, and I was supposed to be sleeping too. Next morning I had school. I had to wake up early, but it was 1 a.m. and I was watching Rick and Morty. My parents made me sleep with my door open so that they made sure that I was asleep. They had like direct vision to my room while I was asleep, and they could see if I was asleep or not. But I found a passage, I found a dead angle so that I could still be on my phone and they could not see me. That's why I was in an uncomfortable position. And you can imagine me lying on my side, like tucked like this, with my phone like this on my side. My volume was set to the lowest because, as I said, my door was open. They could hear if I was making noises or not. They could see if I was on my phone or not, like if I was normally using my phone. That's why I had to be like this, like closed up and everything. Like you can just imagine me. And you know what's the worst part about this? The next morning I had school. I had to wake up at 6 a.m. I knew it was 1 a.m. and I knew that I would get 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep. But I wanted to watch Rick and Morty. It was really important for me. I wanted to watch it. I was wasting time. I knew I would be tired the next day. But I didn't care. Rick and Morty was the priority back then. A fucking animated show was higher on my priority list than sleep. The most fundamental thing ever. And do you want to know the worst part, the worst of the worst part about this story? This wasn't uncommon. I used to do this almost every single night, going to sleep at midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., because I wanted to do something else. I didn't care about sleep. I wanted to scroll on social media. I wanted to talk with girls. I wanted to watch fucking Rick and Morty. I was watching memes on Reddit, watching pointless YouTube videos with less than 6 hours of sleep. I genuinely looked like a walking zombie. I was skinny, I was ugly, I had like those dark spots under my eyes. I was tired all the time. I couldn't talk with people because I wasn't fun. I didn't have energy. I didn't know how to communicate. I wasn't present. I wasn't included. All because of poor sleep. Poor sleep made my life worse in every possible and imaginable way possible. All because I overlooked sleep. I just didn't put it as my priority. It was like level 2 or 3 on the scale of priorities. And as I said, if you're under 8, it's a sign, it's a bad sign. You might overlook this, you might overlook sleep, as I did almost all of my life. And I want to ask you something. How energetic have you been the past week? How productive have you been? How much energy, how social were you? If you said that sleep isn't that high of a priority, I bet your productivity was low, your attention was low, your drive to do anything was low, your attention span was low, your social skills were low, you couldn't communicate properly, you couldn't pay attention in school, you couldn't work on your business, you were slacking in your habits. All of these symptoms, all of these, all of the bad symptoms, just because of poor sleep. All of the bad symptoms and the lack of good symptoms because of poor sleep. You will have all of these if you're consistently sleeping less than 7 hours, 8 hours. Look back at the amount of time you spent in bed trying to fall asleep, not in bed on social media, not in bed watching movies, in bed specifically trying to fall asleep, not the amount of time spent asleep, trying to fall asleep. If it's under 9 hours, you are destroying your life day by day. You're weakening your life. You are literally living for less amount of time. You will be dead sooner because of this. Anything good you want in life, money, skills, muscle, anything good you want in life comes from high quality sleep and sleep in general, like a lot of sleep. But first, I want to tell you a concept. Before I tell you how to improve your sleep, I want to tell you a concept. Time in bed is not the same as time asleep. Answer me this. If you want to wake up at 6 a.m., at what time do you go to bed? You want to sleep for 8 hours. At what time do you go to bed? I will let you do the math. You wake up at 6 and you want to sleep for 8 hours. If you said 10 p.m., you're wrong. And I know what you're thinking. From 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., it's 8 hours. Yeah, but I asked you to be asleep for 8 hours. Time in bed is not the same as time asleep. If you spend 8 hours in bed, you may sleep for 7, 6 hours. Because you will wake up during the night. It will take time to fall asleep. Maybe go to the bathroom during the night. You won't sleep. As soon as you get to bed and you close your eyes, you won't fall asleep instantly and sleep throughout the full night and wake up at 6 a.m. You will wake up during the night. As I said, it will take time to fall asleep. You know how it is. There are some days where you just can't fall asleep. You spend half an hour trying to fall asleep. There are days like that. You can't say you've slept 8 hours on those days. There's a thing called sleep quality. If your sleep quality is 80%, that means you've slept good for 80% of the night. So you have to improve this sleep quality to sleep better. And there are really two ways for you to do that. You either improve sleep quality directly, or you sleep for longer, like you spend time in bed for longer, like you sleep more to like compensate for the amount of time spent awake. So instead of spending 8 hours in bed, you spend 9 hours or 10 hours. And with 80% sleep quality, it will be roughly around 8 hours of sleep if you spend 10 hours in bed. And all these doctors that are telling you that you need to sleep for 8 hours a night, they're not telling you that you need to spend 8 hours in bed. They are telling you to spend 8 hours sleeping. So you need to spend more time in bed. On this video, I will focus on how to improve sleep quality. But if you want to see a video about how to sleep more with a busy schedule or how to sleep more in general, comment down below because I'm really interested if you want to see that. The best way I increased my sleep quality was that I stopped using my phone before bed. You know how phones are really disruptive? Like all that blue light, all those negative emotions, all that time spent like scrolling and everything, all that time wasted. It's just wasted time. It's more negative than positive. Your sleep quality will go down immensely if you spend time on your phone before bed. Because think of it. What positives are there to being on your phone before bed? Like you just disrupt your sleep. You see all that blue light that messes up with your like melatonin and everything. You get negative emotions which highly disrupt your like sleep quality and everything. You are more tempted to go to sleep later because you open Instagram and you see like all those messages. Then you maybe let's start scrolling a bit, and you're there for half an hour, and it's already 1 a.m. and you were supposed to be sleeping at 11 p.m. let's say. You're wasting time and you just can't stop. Time flies by really fast, like once you're scrolling. And here's the thing, sleep quality goes down if you have extreme emotions. Have you ever tried to go to sleep excited for a trip that you had next day. Like tomorrow, let's say you had a trip to Germany. This day, like this night, if you're really excited for it, it would be extremely hard for you to fall asleep. Or when you were younger and you had the school trip the next morning, you just were so excited. You were thinking of things to do during the trip, what you will visit and everything, and you just tried to fall asleep. You knew you had to fall asleep, but you just couldn't. Your mind was extremely active. That's what happens when you have extreme emotions. If you're really excited, if you're really sad, if you're really angry, it affects your sleep quality. Because if you go to sleep really angry, you fall asleep harder and like your quality will be worse. You will spend less time in deep sleep, you will have less REM sleep. It's just more negative. So before bed, an hour before bed, half an hour before bed, just leave your phone down. Don't open it. Check messages one more time, then leave it down. And just don't open it. You will see that you will train your body to fall asleep faster. You will make it more tired because you left your phone down and your body is like, yo, he left his phone down, it's time to sleep. And your body starts getting tired. And when bedtime comes around, you are just tired and you will fall asleep a lot faster. Your eyes will get tired, everything will, you will just become tired and fall asleep faster. Therefore, more sleep, better quality sleep, So just let your phone down, relax 1 hour before bed, half an hour before bed, whatever works for you. And you will see that you will fall asleep faster and you will feel more refreshed the next day. The next thing that worked incredibly well for me was to make my room colder before going to bed. Your body, to actually fall asleep, it has to drop down its temperature. And if your room is cold as it does that, you will fall asleep faster and your sleep will be deeper. You will sleep better. So before bed, just open your window, open your door, let air flow. If you have air conditioning, drop it down by a few degrees. And just before bed, do all of this. And when you get back to your room, you close your windows, you get to bed, and you will fall asleep extremely fast. Trust me. And I see this happening with me. The summer is the season where I fall asleep the hardest, and my sleep is the worst because I have no air conditioning in my room. And of course, in the summer it's hot. Before bed, it's hot. And if I open my window, it's really hot compared to winter, for example. I get sweaty and everything. I wake up in a sweat just because it was hot. And in the winter, I have the best sleep possible because it's colder. I open my window, it's cold, it's extremely cold. I close it before I go to bed and I just fall asleep like this. It's 10 times easier to fall asleep during the winter than it is during the summer. And of course, don't make it extremely cold. Don't make it so that you can't fall asleep because it's too cold. Just drop it down by a few degrees. Make it not that cold, but cold enough. And you will see that you will fall asleep extremely faster. Make it reasonable, And the third thing I did to improve my sleep quality was that I started taping my mouth. I started doing this. I got micropore tape, it's called. It's 3 meters. You can find it online. And every single night, I just tape my mouth shut. And that helped me breathe through my nose. And it's been shown that if you breathe through your nose during the night, you will sleep better. You will sleep deeper. And I saw that. I saw that with myself. As soon as I started taping my mouth shut during the night, I just slept extremely well. When I woke up, I felt so energized because while you sleep, your mouth tends to open up. It happens. And when that happens, you start breathing to your mouth. And that is really deteriorating because I don't know the science behind it, but basically you take more air and that's harmful for you. You wake up because your throat is dry and you can't breathe properly. You have to wake up, drink water, and get back to sleep. You wake up more often, and of course that's a negative. And you will just sleep deeper and better because you breathe through your nose. And if you're scared to do this, you shouldn't be, because I have a story. I once taped my mouth while I was sick. Like my nose was kind of stuffy, but I taped my mouth and I started breathing like normally through my nose. I cleaned it and everything. It was fine. But during the night, something must have happened. Like my nose got blocked and I just couldn't breathe through my nose. Do you know what I did? I started dreaming that I was like my face was covered in cake. I kid you not, I started dreaming that my face was covered in cake and I just couldn't breathe. Do you know what I did, bro? During sleeping, I took my hand and I did like this. I did like this in my dream, and in real life, I did this to take my mouth, like my tape off my mouth, so that I could breathe. And in the morning, I genuinely woke up and the tape was like stuck to my finger. I knew I put it on my mouth correctly. It was uncommon for it to fall off, but in the morning, it was stuck to my finger. So if you're really scared to do this, don't be, because your subconscious is more intelligent than you think. It knows that you go to bed, you have that on your mouth, and if it can't breathe, if you put it incorrectly or if you stuck it too hard, it will know, and you will wake up, you will take it off, and you will not die. If you're going to do this, before going to bed, like you take a small piece of it to not make it as sticky. So when you put it on and you, for some reason, you can't breathe during the night, you will be able to like open your mouth, like use force and open your mouth and take off that tape to breathe. And it's the best hack to sleep deeper and better. And it's extremely cheap. Like one roll of that Macropore tape is like $1, $2, and it lasts you like half a year, like 6 months. I bought 2 of them a year ago, and I'm at the second one, and I opened it like a few months ago. Like they last you a lot of time. Trust me, it's a good investment. Try to change your sleep, and trust me, you will see that it will change your life in ways that you didn't even imagine. You have so much energy, so much drive to do anything. It will be awesome, trust me. You will enjoy life again once you improve your sleep. If you enjoyed the video, scroll down and click on the subscribe button, bro. It will help both of us, especially you. Go and watch this video and join the Discord. See you later. Mwah.